So it's finally here. After 2 very long years of waiting, the official Tonk Royale game mode is introduced into Star Citizen. And I'm a little bit upset actually. Believe it or not. Let's get into that. So, like I said, 2 years ago, on the introduction of the Tonk, I created the first ever Tonk Royale, a massive tank battle in Star Citizen, a public deathmatch with prizes to be won, Tonk vs Tonk, team vs teams, all for all, battle royale, whatever you want. It was there, we did it 2 years ago. And since then, CIG haven't really seemed to have changed much. Unfortunately, the actual Tonk Royale that I experienced in the PTU and that I've experienced in the live build is not really up to scratch, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think that is. The most obvious and glaring issue of all is of course the Tonk itself. Just throwing it into a battle royale scenario does not make it a fun game mode. I really do appreciate all that the new Arena Commander team is doing to give Star Citizen a full-fledged Arena Commander, and that means game modes that we should expect to change regularly along with rule sets. But the Tonk itself is a bit of a mess. Currently in the public test universe, you may experience a much better example of the Tonk than what I did here in the video, simply because they are currently working on it. But this vehicle is 2 years old, and it doesn't really need that much work. It's a tank. Tanks should perform like any tank in any video game. I don't really understand why CIG feel there should be a need for this vehicle to behave ever so differently than all those other examples that are already understood and fantastic. Secondly, you've got the size 5 gun on top. As a solo pilot of this vehicle, that's all you get to control, and you must be in turret mode to do so as well. Unfortunately, unlike the Tonk Royale game mode that I created 2 years ago, there is no team-based game mode. There is no co-pilot, there is no assistance, it's just you versus someone else in the exact same vehicle. Pair that with the current low effort damage and the fact that if your turret takes a single hit, you are pretty useless. There's absolutely nothing you can do, and this bug has existed since day one. The benefit though of day one was that the gun itself did far more damage, so you were more likely to just kill someone than make them sit there in a miserable cockpit waiting to die. I would have really hoped that CIG would be on this case already and have had already resolved this. Along with that, the map. They've only got one map in this game mode, whereas 2 years ago we were able to travel from planet to planet and do this already in verse. Why they didn't just take different destinations from the actual existing game and pop them into the universe, I don't know. Trees, hills, god, snow, I don't know, anything more than just dust with more dust rocks on it would have been fantastic. I love the fact that they are trying to make unique and, I can only guess, balanced spawn locations and maps, or maybe it's for efficiency, maybe it's for FPS and performance. But either way, I would have liked to have seen a rotating map system. There is so much diverse location and atmosphere in this game to utilize. Why they don't use it here, I just don't understand. And a big reason why I advocate for that so much is because, unfortunately, it's the map that makes this game mode really boring. It's very flat and very dull. If they had just looked at my video 2 years ago to see the locations that I went and researched, that I went and picked out because I knew they would provide a different type of game mode from one to the next, from round 1 to round 3, they would have seen that the major benefit of the Tonk ground-based combat is being able to traverse the ground. It's not like Atmo or Arena Commander, the traditional, where you're flying around and you're just in an empty space and you need to add asteroids to add some sort of, I don't know, complexity. The ground already is complex, it's beautiful and textured, and there's all sorts of environmental hazards to be aware of. Not to mention the countless man hours already put into making the verse the beautiful landscape it already is. The developers need to just find the locations, pick them up and drop them into this game mode. I don't think anyone cares about gamification in Arena Commander. Put barriers up, put some sort of warning up, just like you get in any game like Battlefield, to tell you to turn back. I really just think that they need to think more about what we look at. And unfortunately, it's a big problem. there is something to be said about the repetitiveness of this game mode. Unfortunately, the Tonk is a very one-and-done hero. It is very specialized, and it can't really offer you much else more than just a single cannon. By this point, 2 years into the development of the Tonk, it would have been nice to have some ground weapons you could swap it out for, to provide some sort of gameplay. This is why I actually would have advocated for an Ursa Rover style battle royale over a Tonk battle royale. So developers, if you're listening, do that. Put the Ursa in. It's going to be a much better option for everyone. It's way more fun to be able to choose your own loadout in these things. And on the notes of improvements, let's talk about the Tonk's damage. Buff it. It really needs to hit harder, or improve the damage model. I think it's lame that we can't take out tank tracks. The gun should never be something that you can just disable because it's the only thing you have going for you in this game. But change it to making it a slower turn rate rather than just disabling it outright. Or, better yet, have something more special. Why don't we have repairability in this game mode? You have it in Arena Commander with those stupid pickups. Just have it a button in this game. If you get hit on the gun, maybe you can drive away, hide behind an object that you might add at some other point, and then repair. Wouldn't that just be fantastic? It would add a lot of flexibility, especially if you have no intention of increasing the damage output of the Tonk. Again, it's all about gamifying these game modes to make them more fun. At the moment, all it really is a test environment for the Tonk, and unfortunately, I don't think the Tonk itself provides a lot of enjoyment with these dull and bland environments. You really do have to make something special of the Tonk to really bring it out of its shell, because otherwise it gets outshadowed by other great and very, very exciting ground vehicles. This all might change with a brand new ground vehicle rumoured to be launching with CitizenCon just at the end of next week. But again, we don't know, and that's the thing with CIG. We never really truly know, and things are always subject to change. At this moment in time, I do hope that this Tank Royale game mode does change. And if they want some inspiration, go check out my video from 2 years ago. It's brilliant. I hope you guys will enjoy it. And yes, I'm not going to say I'm a little bit butthurt. They didn't even mention my video when they released this game mode, but that's just by the by. I would like to know whether or not you agree with me. Do you think the Tonk was actually the right choice for this ground-based battle royale, or do you think the Ursa was a better idea? Do you think the new introduction of that lightly armored tank will change things? And do you think there's anything else you'd like to see changed about ground vehicles overall? Let me hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you guys very much for watching this very short little video, and I look forward to seeing you in the verse. Bye bye for now.